Welcome to another episode of Money Mind Unlocked. I'm your host, Scott Blaze. Today, we're going deep into a question that has sparked curiosity, envy, admiration, and even controversy. What exactly do rich people do differently with money? Is it just about earning more? Or is it about thinking, acting, and behaving in fundamentally different ways? Let's begin this journey with a story. One that doesn't start in a mansion or private jet but in a modest suburban neighborhood. Meet Lisa and Tom. Same city, same age, same college degree, same starting salary. 10 years later, Lisa is living paycheck to paycheck. Tom? He owns 3 rental properties, maxed out his Roth IRA, and just bought his second cash-flowing business. What happened? What made the difference? The answer lies in mindset, behavior, and strategy. And today, I'm going to take you through these differences, one story, one principle, and one turning point at a time. The first thing that separates the wealthy is how they see money, not as a goal, but as a tool. Tom never saw his paycheck as a reward. He saw it as capital. Every dollar was a soldier. And every soldier had a mission: to grow, protect, and multiply. While Lisa saw her raise as a green light to upgrade her lifestyle: new car, better apartment, gourmet groceries, Tom upgraded his assets. When his income increased, so did his investments, not his expenses. Here's a pattern. Wealthy people delay gratification. They buy time before they buy toys. When most people get emotional satisfaction from spending, rich people get satisfaction from watching their net worth grow. It's a different dopamine. Wealthy people also track everything, while many avoid checking their balances out of fear or stress. The rich are obsessed with the numbers, not in a compulsive way, but in an empowering one. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. They build dashboards. They look at income, debt ratios, investment performance, cash flow. Money becomes data, and data becomes strategy. And perhaps the most counterintuitive difference? Rich people talk about money constantly, strategically. They talk about taxes, equity, leverage, business models. It's not taboo, it's essential. Now let's move from story to principle. One of the most valuable habits rich people build early is the habit of investing automatically. Tom set up automatic transfers the day he got his job, 20% straight into investments. He called it paying his future self. That money was never up for negotiation. It didn't depend on how he felt. It was automated and untouchable. This one behavior compounds over years. It's how someone with a moderate salary ends up with a massive portfolio, simply by sticking to the plan. Rain or shine. And here's another core difference. The rich prioritize ownership, not consumption. They aim to own appreciating assets, stocks, real estate, businesses. If it doesn't grow in value or produce cash flow, they think twice. Meanwhile, most people are caught in the trap of spending everything they earn, often on things that lose value the moment they're bought. Clothes, cars, gadgets. The rich buy assets. Everyone else buys liabilities they call assets. Let me be clear, this isn't about being frugal for the sake of being cheap. It's about leverage. Every dollar has a job, and the job is freedom. Stay tuned as we dive even deeper into how rich people protect wealth, use debt, and think in decades, not days. But first, if you're finding value in this episode, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It helps the show grow and brings these ideas to more people who need them. Now, let's get back to the lessons. Let's now talk about debt, because this is where the game truly separates the wealthy from the average. The average person sees debt as dangerous, stressful, something to escape, and rightly so, if used recklessly. But the wealthy see 2 types of debt: bad debt and strategic debt. Bad debt buys depreciating items, like a new car you can't afford or a vacation you put on a credit card. Strategic debt, however, is different. It buys cash-flowing real estate. It buys businesses. It funds investments that generate more income than the interest costs. Tom didn't avoid debt. He studied it. He learned how leverage could amplify his gains. He bought a small duplex using a government-backed loan, lived in one unit, and rented out the other. That rent paid the mortgage. A few years later, he refinanced, pulled out equity, and bought another property. The key? He used debt to buy freedom, not lifestyle. That's a huge distinction. Now here's a truth that hits hard. Rich people value education, but not always in the form you expect. While many pour money into degrees with no clear return, the wealthy invest in high ROI knowledge. That includes mentors, courses, masterminds, books, and experiences that increase their earning power. Tom spent thousands learning real estate strategy before ever buying a home. He didn't see it as an expense. He saw it as an accelerator. Rich people don't ask, how much does it cost? They ask, what's the return on this investment? They also think in decades, not just months or years. They're not chasing fast money. They're building financial ecosystems, where businesses feed investments. Investments generate cash flow, and that cash flow funds new opportunities. The average mindset is linear: earn, spend, repeat. The wealthy mindset is exponential: build, compound, reinvest. And this mindset extends to taxes. Yes, taxes. Most people treat taxes like a painful inevitability. They hand over a third or more of their income without strategy. But wealthy people understand tax law as a system of incentives. It rewards behaviors that benefit the economy, like creating jobs, investing in housing, funding innovation. So Tom built a business. That business allowed him to write off legitimate expenses, equipment, travel, education. He structured his real estate holdings in LLCs to separate risk and optimize for tax efficiency. He worked with a CPA, not just a tax preparer. And as a result, he kept more of what he earned. Remember, it's not just about how much you make. It's about how much you keep, and what you do with it. Another behavior? The rich audit their circles. Not just financially, but mentally. Who do they spend time with? What ideas are they exposed to? Are their conversations elevating or draining? You become what you consume, mentally and financially. And the rich are deliberate about that consumption. They read more books than social feeds. They spend more time building than watching. They learn from winners instead of critics. They also understand opportunity cost. Every yes is a no to something else. Time is capital, so they outsource low-value tasks, protect focus hours, and guard their calendars like their money depends on it, because it does. Let's explore a simple but powerful shift. The wealthy seek asymmetric returns. That means they look for moves that have limited downside but unlimited upside. It could be investing in a startup, buying a property under market value, or launching a product with minimal cost. They're not gamblers. They're calculated risk takers. They think in probabilities, not guarantees. This is how wealth is built, not overnight, but by stacking smart decisions over time. And perhaps most importantly, the rich have a bias toward action. They don't wait for perfect timing. They test. They iterate. They move. Let's keep going. The next section will break down how the wealthy design systems to make money while they sleep, and how you can begin doing the same. Let's talk about systems, because this is the next frontier of wealth. Wealthy individuals don't just work hard. They build engines, systems that keep spinning even when they sleep. Whether it's dividend-paying stocks, real estate that rents itself through property managers, or businesses run by operators, they create layers of income that don't rely on their daily effort. Tom understood early that time was his scarcest resource. So he asked, "How can I create income that doesn't require my time?" This led him to build a portfolio that paid him every month, regardless of whether he was working or on vacation. This is the difference between earned income and passive or leveraged income. Most people stay trapped in active income. They work. They get paid. Stop working. The money stops too. The wealthy escape that trap by buying or building income-generating assets. But here's something even more important: they systematize their decisions. For instance, Tom didn't sit down every month to decide if he was going to save or invest. He set up systems that made those decisions automatic. Bills were paid, investments were made, taxes were set aside, all without relying on willpower. The less you rely on discipline, the more consistent your outcomes. That's the secret. Rich people build habits that don't require motivation to maintain. Systems beat willpower every time. And speaking of systems, let's not forget about legacy. Rich people don't just think about their own lifetime. They think generationally. They set up trusts. They buy life insurance with investment-grade benefits. They teach their children about money, not just by telling, but by modeling. They plant seeds that will grow into forests they may never walk through, but their children will. They also protect what they've built. Insurance, legal structures, emergency funds. Risk mitigation isn't sexy, but it's essential. It's how you stay rich. And they diversify, but not in the random way most people do. They diversify by knowledge and intention, not by fear. They don't invest in things they don't understand just to spread risk. They go deep in what they know, and build expertise before capital. Now let's highlight something crucial: feedback loops. The wealthy design feedback loops that improve their performance over time. They review what's working. They track KPIs, key performance indicators, not just in business, but in life. Net worth, health, time allocation, happiness. They reflect. They adjust. They grow. The average person often drifts. The rich recalibrate. And while this might sound like a lot, it all begins with awareness. Clarity. You can't change what you don't see. So here's your challenge. Audit your own money behavior. Are you buying time, or wasting it? Are you accumulating liabilities, or building assets? Are you making emotional decisions, or strategic ones? This is not about shame. It's about power. Because once you know the rules, you can stop playing the game that keeps most people stuck, and start designing your own. As we head into our final segment, I'll walk you through a step-by-step plan to apply these principles to your life. Whether you're starting with $100 or $100, the principles stay the same. The difference is commitment and execution. Let's bring it home now. You've heard the stories. You've seen the patterns. But now it's time to ask, how do you put all this into action? Let's start simple. First, build your foundation. That means having an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses. This isn't just a buffer. It's peace of mind. It's the freedom to take risks, to make bold moves without fear. Second, automate your finances. Set up systems where saving and investing happen before you even see the money. Make it invisible, out of sight, out of spend. Third, start tracking. Build a simple spreadsheet or use an app. Know your income, expenses, net worth, and cash flow. Update it every month. What you track, you improve. Fourth, commit to learning. Read books on wealth. Listen to podcasts. Take a course on investing. Wealth grows where attention flows. Fifth, increase your income. This doesn't mean just working more hours. It means increasing your value. Learn skills that are in demand. Start a side hustle. Build something that scales. The wealthy don't just budget better, they earn better. Sixth, buy assets. That means things that grow in value or produce income. Stocks, index funds, real estate, small businesses, and invest consistently. Don't try to time the market. Time in the market beats timing the market. Seventh, protect what you build. Get the right insurance. Set up the right legal structures. Plan your estate. These are not just rich people problems, they're responsible people strategies. Eighth, cultivate the right mindset. Stop comparing. Start designing. Your path will be unique, but the principles remain the same. Let's be honest, not everyone will do this. Most people will listen to this podcast, nod their heads, and go back to the same habits. But not you. If you've made it this far, there's something in you that's ready to stop drifting and start designing. This is your invitation. Start small, start where you are, but start now, because the biggest secret of wealthy people is this: they didn't wait until they were rich to act rich. They became rich because they acted differently, long before they had the money. They thought long term, they took responsibility, they stopped blaming and started building. And they never stopped learning. So ask yourself, what's the next smart move I can make today? Maybe it's setting up that investment account. Maybe it's reading that book. Maybe it's finally getting clear on where your money's going each month. Whatever it is, do it, because the gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't as wide as you think. It's just built on daily decisions, one smart move at a time. And if you keep stacking those moves, day after day, week after week, something amazing happens. You look up one day, and you realize, you're no longer surviving. You're thriving. You're no longer just working for money. Your money is working for you. And that's when everything changes. Thank you for joining me today. If this episode sparked something in you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Your journey is just beginning. Make it count. Let's stretch the lens a little further. Because there's something else wealthy people do differently. It's not just how they use money, but how they relate to it. For many people, money is emotional. It triggers fear, shame, guilt, or even pride. But the wealthy approach money with neutrality. It's a tool, not a trophy, a lever, not an identity. This shift in perspective is transformative. When money is just a tool, you stop fearing it, you start using it strategically. You make decisions from clarity, not chaos. Tom used to think saving money meant he was being cheap. But he reframed it. Every dollar saved and invested wasn't deprivation, it was direction. It was a vote for the future he wanted. And the compound effect of those votes turned into freedom. This is where values come in. Rich people are value-driven. They don't just chase money, they align money with what matters most to them. Tom didn't want yachts or private islands. He wanted time with his family. He wanted to choose his schedule, to wake up without an alarm, to work because he wanted to, not because he had to. So he used money to buy that freedom, not to impress strangers. When you're clear on your values, money becomes fuel, not friction. It serves your life instead of dictating it. Let's talk about vision next. Rich people have clarity on where they're going. They set targets. They map backward. They ask questions like, what would financial freedom look like in 10 years? Then they break it down into actions for today. That vision keeps them grounded during volatility. When the market dips, they don't panic. They see it as opportunity. Because their timeline is long. Their plan is intentional. Compare that to someone without a vision. Every financial decision becomes reactive, emotional, impulsive. Wealthy individuals also practice gratitude and contentment, not as an excuse to settle, but as a strategy to stay grounded. Tom built the habit of writing down things he was grateful for, especially during tough seasons. That mental practice kept him from chasing shiny distractions. It kept him focused on progress, not perfection. Because here's the paradox: when you're content, you make better financial decisions. You're less likely to overextend, less likely to chase status, and more likely to build sustainable wealth. Now let's shift to community. Rich people don't do it alone. They build networks. They find mentors. They share ideas. They collaborate. They pay for access, proximity, and wisdom. Tom joined a local investment group, not because he needed validation, but because he wanted perspective. That community helped him avoid mistakes, find deals, and stay accountable. Wealth is a team sport. You need people around you who stretch your thinking, challenge your assumptions, and model what's possible. You also need to be willing to be the beginner, to ask questions, to learn from others without ego. The rich are students first, experts second. They also give. Yes, give. Contrary to the stereotype, many wealthy people are incredibly generous. But here's the key: they give from strategy, not just sympathy. They support causes that align with their values. They create foundations. They fund impact. And they don't see generosity as subtraction. They see it as multiplication. Because when money flows through you, not just to you, it changes your relationship with it. You stop hoarding and start harvesting. You stop gripping and start growing. The final idea I want to leave you with is this: the journey to wealth is less about intelligence and more about intention. Less about having a perfect plan and more about consistent execution. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. And you need to keep going. Even when it's slow, even when it's boring, even when no one's watching. Because wealth is not built in bursts. It's built in rhythms, daily habits, weekly reviews, monthly investments, yearly reflections, and decade-long visions. So what does all of this mean for you? Right now, in this moment, it means you have more power than you think. You don't need to wait for a raise, a windfall, or the perfect circumstances. You need a decision, a shift, a refusal to play the game the way most people do. You can build wealth slowly, intentionally, and sustainably, starting with what you have. You can think differently, behave differently, invest differently. You can audit your habits, rethink your systems, refocus your attention. You can choose to stop living reactively and start living strategically. The principles we've covered today aren't exclusive. They're available, they're timeless, and they're yours if you want them. Start with clarity, get honest about where you are, then get inspired about where you want to go. Design the bridge, build the steps, execute with patience, and remember, no one is coming to save you. But that's not a curse, it's a gift. Because it means you are in charge. You get to lead, you get to own your choices. You get to shape your future. So choose wisely, choose intentionally, choose to act like someone who values their freedom more than their fleeting comfort. That's the mindset that builds wealth. That's the mindset that transforms not just your bank account, but your entire life. This is your moment, not tomorrow, not someday, now. Take it, run with it, and never look back. Before we close, let me leave you with one final thought. The biggest difference between those who succeed financially and those who struggle isn't luck. It's clarity and consistency. The people who win with money do so because they are clear on what they want, why they want it, and how they're going to get there. Then they act on it, relentlessly. They don't need to be perfect. They just need to stay in motion. So wherever you are today, whether you're deep in debt, just starting out, or already building momentum, know this: you have what it takes. Not just because you listened to this episode, but because you're willing to learn, to grow, and to take ownership. This journey is yours, and the next chapter starts now.